is Agent Cheeseburger, and today we are going to be playing Subnatica. Today I'll be showing you how to build a castle in Subnatica in just 5 easy steps. Let's start a new game. I'll be playing in creative, so I don't have to waste my time getting all the resources. Okay. So the first thing you're going to need to do to make your castle is to switch over to the builder tool. We are going to be building our castle in the safe shallows.
Stay within 5 kilometers of the nearest lifepod or habitat.
So the first thing you're going to need to do is get this foundation and go to the surface. Or you can build your castle underwater. It's really whatever you want. So, there. We have built in our first foundation. The first step to building your castle is just going to be choosing a bunch of foundations. I'm just going to choose 6 foundations right now. Yeah, so first you're just going to have to put down 6 foundations. Wherever you want, it doesn't really matter. And then the second step is to take a multi-purpose room and put it in the corner of your right here. There. Now you can keep building this up to put walls. If I did this a bit wider, then you could put glass tubes in between to just put a bigger space. But as for right now, we are going to have to deconstruct this just because I want to show you what a bigger castle would look like. So if we make this a 4x4, which is a good decent size for a castle, and once you're done with laying all of the foundations, to make a 4x4, just like so, you can put multi-purpose rooms in each of the corners. Of course, I recommend building this in creative. You can still build it in survival, but it will take a lot more time because you'll have to gather the resources and everything. Before we continue, I just want to make sure that you remember to smash that like button. And I really want to say thank you to all the people who have been supporting my YouTube channel. I am very grateful. The third step is to create some glass too. You can use glass or you can use non-glass. I'll show you what the non-glass looks like. It's just, yeah. And then you can add windows. It's pretty much the same as the non-glass one. Just I like to have a view. So we'll be putting glass border lines. So now you can And just as this entrance, we'll put this so you can get and then right here you can put a hatch to go outside. But let's see inside your castle. You're going to need to do, like I said, a bunch of tubes around. Then, for a second story, just add a second story onto each of your houses, like so. And then you should be done with step 4. Step 5 is to, or a continuation of step 3, is to just put another layer of tubes on your castle to add more fortification. This tactic for building a castle has worked for me many times when I've been trying to escape one of the Leviathans in Subnatica. And it can't get through these 2 glass compartments, so you'll be safe inside your ring. And then, so you can just keep going as ever high as you want, but I always like, so you know how there are watchtowers on castles? That's why I always like to put a scanner room on top of each of your poles. But let's start working on the interior. Obviously, it's your base, so it's going to need to be pretty big. If you want, because you can take away some of the foundations you do not need. And then you can put it in a multi-purpose room in the center. It would probably be best if you could put your multi-purpose room right in the center here, so you would be able to. The final and 5th step is to, this is not, you do not have to do this, but it's always nice to put a moon pool just outside your base. Just as a docking bay. Around your base. I just recommend 2 on each side, nothing too big and nothing too small. And then you can do that on each of these sides like I just did. So you'll just have to put a cross compartment, put a hatch on it, go to the other side, and put another hatch on it. Of course, we're a bit too close to the life pod for me to be able to put it. But now, you have a nice castle coming around here. And you have lovely walkways. Now, something else you can do inside this part of your castle, you can start a floating farm. All you're going to need to do is just head over to the section with the H and just put down a bunch of these beds or a bunch of grow beds. So I recommend putting some walking space between each planters, but you can create just rows after rows, and you'll have a nice protected farmland inside your small kingdom. And you can also put all sorts of buildings inside your kingdom. That's the great thing about the building in Subnatica. Because you can customize your home to be whatever you want it to be. It looks like it's getting to be nighttime. So we are going to need, so to light it up, it's always good to have some floodlights. Because they provide a great source of, they always spawn away from you. Yeah, so you can always spawn in some floodlights to light it up while you're planting your lovely farm. Let's wait for those to turn on. Nice. Now you have a nice and lit area to make your farm. But of course you are still going to need a generator to keep your base alive. So that's where you can put in in one of your bases, you can put in a bioreactor or a nuclear reactor. But it's always nice to have a thermal plant in your base. You are on an alien planet, and it's not going to be very familiar to you. Then you can put some power generators. I think they always look cool to make kind of gates. And you can just make a bunch of them, and it can look like you have a really cool laser gate. And these are some really cool tips and tricks to impress your friends with building in Subnatica. Boom, you have a lovely farm in a castle. This was on 5 quick and easy tips to make a castle and interior decorating. If you want to see me make a underwater castle in Subnatica, just make sure to subscribe to my channel. This is Good Night from Agent Cheeseburger.